Hey folks, your OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the FunkySky H1. This is a multifunction Bluetooth accessory which combines stereo Bluetooth speakers that are rated at 3 watts each. It also acts as a power bank in addition to a stand, so you can use it to pop up a tablet or a smartphone when you're watching videos or interacting, such as browsing the web. Otherwise, it sells on Amazon for about $35, which really isn't too expensive, and comes in a number of different colors. We have the blue and white version here for review purposes, and it has a pretty small kind of packaging here. This is just what it looks like when you get it. So this is what the actual speaker looks like. Kind of an interesting pattern and groove going on. Inside, you have quite a few accessories, inclusive of a micro USB charging cable for the speaker itself. It takes about 2 hours to completely charge, and then the speaker can last for roughly 7 hours of continuous music playback before you need to recharge it again. This is an adapter, so that's because the micro USB port on the H1 is going to be used for both charging as well as providing power for other devices. There actually isn't room for a full-sized USB port, or at least the engineers didn't put that in, so you have to use this adapter if you want to use it as a power bank and charge another cell phone or a tablet. It has a 5-volt 1 amp power output and decent charging rate. It's not a Qualcomm quick charge device, but it can charge an Android device in roughly 2 hours or so. iPhone 6s charges up in 3.5 hours in our testing. There's also an included lanyard, so you can use that to strap it around and take it with you. Also, a auxiliary port, so 3.5mm jack, if you don't want to use Bluetooth and still want to listen to music. And that's all for the accessories. If we flip this open to the other side, you can see this is just the speaker itself. A few documents. There is actually a case that it came with in terms of protecting it in the box, but we checked that out already. There's a thank you card as well as a instruction manual of how to set things up, adjust volume, and so on and so forth. So taking a look at the design of the H1 speakers first, it's coated in a layer of soft touch rubber, so it does feel pretty good. It doesn't attract too many fingerprints, and there are rubber feet on the bottom, so it won't slide around on a surface or a desk. On this case, it's quite important because the speaker itself isn't too heavy, and if it's going to withstand the weight of a tablet or a smartphone, you have to make sure it doesn't move around. So that's a smart choice by FunkySky. Otherwise, taking a look at the ports, we have access to microphones on the top because this can also be used as a speakerphone. You can use it for answering calls, and it is a noise-canceling mic. So even in crowded environments, it still picks up your sound and cancels out the background quite nicely. Here's the 3.5mm auxiliary port and the micro USB port for both charging and using this as a power bank. The top features a power on-off switch as well as slider for the volume controls, which works pretty well, creates a nice level of manual adjustment. There's also dedicated controls for pairing it with Bluetooth, selecting back and forth between the various modes, and the actual sliding inside part here, the groove, is where your tablets actually will stay in place if you have it popped up as a stand. It has a soft touch rubber which grips your device in place and prevents it from being scratched. So if I have a phone here, let's say, you can see that it stands up pretty nicely. I can also use, of course, a portrait orientation as well. So depending on your device, it isn't going to be compatible with everything. Maybe devices with rounded corners aren't going to work as well, but if you have a phone with a sharp corner on the bottom, it will tend to work a little bit better in this particular orientation. Also, this orientation for video watching. Larger tablets, I think, are slightly more preferred, such as, let's say, a 9-inch Google Nexus tablet or a Nexus 7. Those all work fine. They can be, sitting at this angle when you're watching videos. What I will say, though, is that this particular holder can't be adjusted in terms of the angle, so you can't move it back and forth for a more appropriate degree when you're watching videos at different heights on different tables, which is, something that I can think of maybe in a next generation model. Otherwise, a pretty clean, modern presentation across the board, a pretty good design going on. We're going to check out the audio quality and the speaker test sound. We've now paired the H1 to the Samsung Galaxy device, and it's pretty easy. It just takes a few seconds to complete. It doesn't have an NFC tag on board, so you can't just tap to pair, but it's pretty simple. Just go through settings and you can find it. The speaker is just called H1. So I'm going to play back this audio clip, show you guys the quality of the speakers. Let's go back to 0. So that sound there is telling us that it's already at the maximum loudness for the volume. I can change the volume a bit more through the phone, though, if I wanted to turn that up a bit more. What I'm noticing about the audio quality as I'm listening is that it's actually pretty clean and rich sounding, which is impressive. The two speakers are separated enough that it creates a three-dimensional sound, which comes across even more if you're playing back films or movies with an intense soundtrack for action or suspense movies. So obviously this is going to be far better than any phone speaker that you have. It's way louder, it's way richer, it's way deeper as well. And it does have a fair amount of bass as well, which I was surprised to find. I thought that the bass would be, quite lacking on this, but it seems like it's doing a good job as well as creating a thump and a punch in the background. So it seems like the center part might be some kind of integrated passive radiator, perhaps a small subwoofer, which is probably contributing to this effect. So overall, a pretty good sounding speaker. Definitely helps that the music is blasting in your face when you put it on a surface or a desk. You can also set it up at different orientations, and it does stand if you want to use it that way. So a pretty small and compact form factor as far as being a speaker is concerned. So music quality, we give this thing 2 thumbs up. If you're listening to electronic music, pop music, even maybe a bit of classical music, this one does the job. I don't hear any static or distortion in the background either, which is quite rare for Bluetooth speakers. It seems quite clear, so pretty good speaker all in all. Again, especially considering the size, it's not going to be, perfect for audiophiles, and certainly there could be parts that are cleaner in the audio, but all in all, again, we are impressed with the sound, considering this is a multi-function device and they had to incorporate various aspects and not just a speaker and that's it. So that is the music component. Next, we're going to check out the power bank component. So you can see that the side here also uses an LED light to tell you the status, such as charging, such as battery, as well as when you're pairing, it's going to be flashing. Plugging in the micro USB cable here, we have now entered the charging mode. So if I have, and after plugging this in, you can see that the smart fitness tracker that we have for a testing purpose is showing that the charging process has started. So it's basically automatic. As soon as you plug in this extension cable, it enters into the power bank mode. And it's a pretty smart power bank as well, in the sense it's not going to overheat or overcharge your device, and it will automatically shut off once charging reaches maximum. So all in all, I think that this is really a nice travel companion. It seems to work well as both a Bluetooth speaker, as a charger, and of course the stand here is just an extra feature that is perhaps the less impressive or the least impressive out of the three, but it's still a welcome function nonetheless. If you're going onto a plane or onto a train, this might be a nice way to view some videos without having to hold your device for extended periods of time. So to check out more details about the H1 multifunction Bluetooth speaker, you can read our full written review, which has a bit more data on the testing and performance, but this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS.